Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. In this video I want to talk about Alpha 3.12 and what gameplay additions we could be getting. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members who allow me to make these kinds of videos. If you do enjoy my content and would like to support the channel even further from as little as $1 a month, it is all very much appreciated. All the links are in the description below. So Alpha 3.10 and 3.11 were a little lackluster, focusing more on quality of life and stability improvements, which is extremely important, of course, and I am very grateful for that, but they didn't really bring much hype and excitement like gameplay and mechanics do. Well, looking at the roadmap now, it's easy to think that 3.12 will be just as dull, with little to get excited for, but it does appear as though there are some pretty interesting content coming for the end of the year patch. So we know a lot of content is held back by the iCache and server meshing floodgates until they get implemented sometime next year, but there is still a big focus to expand on systems we already have in the game and push those mechanics as far as possible until they can open those floodgates. We have heard that CIG are planning to expand on a few particular areas of the current PU, which are things like exploration, hauling, trading, mercenary, outlaw, bounty hunting and mining, but this year and into next their main focus will be to bring further refinement to cargo hauling, piracy and bounty hunting, and it appears alongside that they will continue to improve mining and implement the first edition of refining. So let me just go through some of the expanded gameplay we have heard about that is very likely coming in 3.12. So kicking off with cargo hauling, last we heard was that they have removed all the previous hauling and delivery missions to improve them and make them more realistic, like the current multi-box delivery missions being more reminiscent of post office deliveries. They are now reintroducing more missions to reflect that of real-world delivery and hauling jobs. What appears to be coming in 3.12 are the introduction of these new box missions, which include the transportation of damage-sensitive boxes, so sensitive to taking bumps or hits, time-sensitive boxes, which will need to be delivered within a certain time frame, and quantum-sensitive boxes. So, for example, it sounds as though you will be picking up the cargo from, say, location A on Microtech and delivering it to location B on Microtech with limited or no ability to quantum travel. Think long-duration deliveries, which will hopefully be reflected in the payout. Now, these new boxes appear to need to be loaded into one standard cargo unit crates to be transported in bulk, and we will have some form of manifest to allow us to monitor the stability and condition. In the monthly report from August, it actually mentions this. The gameplay features team looked into the cargo hauling profession with work being done to see it in a much broader sense, with aspirations to expand the system to make it more interactive and exhilarating. And the actual team working on it said this: cargo haulers will need to monitor their cargo, checking to make sure it's stable and in good condition while they travel. Beginner haulers will need to check things like temperature while hauling food, whereas experienced haulers may need to check stability of volatile shipments. Now, originally when I heard this, I thought this gameplay was intended for 3.11's cargo decks, so let us hope that these new boxes and cargo types, which we have seen a few times now, will actually be for 3.12 and bring some interesting much needed cargo hauling jobs. Plus, it would be a great way of utilising the cargo decks. Now, one big update coming to 3.12 is the handheld tractor beam attachment for your multi-tool, which will open up quite a lot of possibilities for introducing some more interactive gameplay. This will allow you to manipulate and move cargo and items, so it does look as though these actual one standard cargo unit crates, which we can load 8 of these hand-sized cargo boxes into, will be movable by us, hopefully in 3.12, and physically have us moving cargo on and off of our ships. If this is the case, it will be great for small to medium-sized ships like the Avenger, the Cutlass, or even the Freelancer, as we may be loading our ships by hand and transporting goods from A to B. Because we keep seeing these cargo options, I am hopeful that they will come with 3.12, as it will really expand the cargo mechanic enough while we wait for iCache. So next up is mining, and this is more of a continuation to improve what we currently have, with the new UI updates that we saw in Inside Star Citizen coming in Alpha 3.12. Now this will definitely improve the mining experience, and I'm really looking forward to it, as it'll provide much more information on the same screen, taking out a lot of the guesswork. Alongside these refinery decks, it'll really connect the full economic gameplay loop. Not that the economy is being vastly improved yet, obviously they're waiting for quantum around the end of next year, but the ability to mine minerals, take those ores to be refined, and then take the refined ores to sell for more than the raw minerals. It's going to be a great loop, and hopefully something that we can work together as a group with other players, or if you want, perform on your own. Which nicely leads me to refining. But the big question that I have is, how will this work in terms of interactions for players? A sentence taken from the roadmap description for refining reads as followed. Once one or multiple refining jobs are completed, the player can pick up the refined materials, which can then be sold for a lot more than the unrefined ore. So how will this work exactly? Let's say that you arrive in your prospector with a full cargo hold of unrefined ore. When you approach the refinery kiosk, I'm assuming it will just automatically recognize what you have inside your saddlebags, similar to how commodity trading works now. Or will we be able to finally drop our saddlebags and have them picked up? I personally think it's the first option, the automated system, although the new tractor beam multi-tool could open up the saddlebag gameplay, but it's unlikely. Either way, you set the job going and you hang around for it to finish. Once finished, how will the refined ore be given back to the player? The prospector does not have the appropriate cargo hold for hauling boxes, so how will the player who brought this refined goods move those boxes to be sold on again? Will they be physical cargo boxes that can be picked up by hand or using the tractor beam? If so, the prospector pilot would surely need another ship to transport them. Now this has pretty much got me baffled as to the direction CIG will go for 3.12 and refining. I guess we will just have to hear more as 3.12 approaches, but as much as I have no idea how this will work or play out, I'm very excited to see it come to life, and really look forward to any upcoming official CIG shows that will shed some light on this. Do let me know how you think CIG will introduce the refining gameplay loop and how you think this will play out in the comments below. So next up on the list is bounty hunting. Now next year they will be looking at making bounty hunting version 2 to make it a proper career. But Luke Presley, one of the developers working on this, did say that between then and now, so late this year and into next, they will be working on ways to improve bounty hunting. He says this will allow them to display the bounty's location marker only when they're in a monitored zone, but also a last known location when the bounty left the monitored zone, allowing the bounty hunter to read into and search for where the bounty may have gone. They also plan to add a time since left monitored space counter, so you can gauge whether it's a good option to pursue it if it's just a few minutes or seconds, or wait for another ping if it is hours since the bounty was last spotted in monitored space. Now obviously removing this location or god marker as they put it where the bounty is would kind of make bounty hunting near impossible if the bounty never sets foot in monitored space, so basically you'll just never know where they are. So they are looking into it a lot more and testing it to see what the best approach would be, but they do plan on having multiple ways that the bounty can give their position away, meaning that the bounty will feel like they're on the run and the bounty hunter is actually trying to hunt them down. Now some methods, they said, could include triangulating the bounty's position if they are on their mobiGlas for too long, or if they buy something or request landing from a space station, popping up a location marker for the bounty hunter. They want to allow bounty hunters to maybe see a pattern in the bounty's behaviour. So for example, maybe the bounty always heads to a certain location regularly, meaning as a bounty hunter you could sit and wait for them to appear. So it sounds like they are really planning to shape up the bounty hunting mechanic a little bit more this year and into next year, and hopefully it'll create some tangible gameplay for both bounty hunters and criminals alike. I know they are working on scanners and radar for both ships and FPS, and with the latest concept reveal of the non-lethal taser, stun gun and a sneak peek of some handcuffs, could we be apprehending players in 3.12 and throwing them into the bounty pods on your ship to take to prison? The ability to surrender is still on the 3.12 roadmap, so it's certainly looking that way, but if any of these bounty hunting updates come into 3.12, I will definitely be taking part in those missions. I don't do them right now as it's just too simple and boring, being led straight to the location of the bounty and then just having to kill them, but even the ability to track and follow clues to try and kill the bounty will make the experience something very special. Which leads me nicely into the final gameplay feature that CIG have said they're going to focus on short term, and that is piracy. So one thing that the multi-tool tractor beam could allow is for crates to physically be moved from or into our cargo holds, which could give the ability for pirates to steal them from cargo haulers. Chris Roberts has said piracy is one of the main focal areas for early expansion, so I do wonder if this is part of how it will expand. What we have heard in terms of bounty hunting will really add more depth and challenge for pirates and criminals as well, having to plan routes and landings in areas, knowing that the moment you enter monitored space or request a landing, it will ping the bounty hunters and kind of start that timer until they are on your location. That feeling of really being on the run will be even more present, but also give you some breathing room to hide out and get organised if you manage to escape to non-monitored space. Now, I'm not sure what other plans CIG have for piracy short term, but they have mentioned utilising more locations for places to sell contraband, and I expect the reputation system will play a huge part in it, which is a system that they are working on now, so we will see. But that is all I have for you for this video. It certainly appears as though CIG are working on a lot more content short term, and 3.12 will see a good amount of this. Combined with all the stability and performance improvements that they're working on, Alpha 3.12 could be an excellent patch for playing over the holidays, and I'm sure as we approach the release date for the patch, we will see more about these mechanics and how they will work. Personally, I am very excited to see refining and the mining UI come along. If we get any of these other updates for cargo hunting or bounty hunting that I've mentioned, then I'll be overjoyed. But with that said, do make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We still have a Mercury Star Runner to give away with reaching 30,000 subscribers. Thank you again. We're just waiting for that ship to become available to buy, and then we will do that giveaway. Tick that notification bell if you want to be notified when my videos go live, and be sure to hit that like button if you don't mind. It does me a big favour. If you want to talk more about the game or watch me play some gameplay, do follow me over on twitch.tv/supermacbrothers Ryan. The link's in the description. Thank you again to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.